Happy New Year, Happy New You. Friends, it is a privilege to greet you today as we enter this new experience, this new year of 2017, a year that is filled with promise, a year that is filled with purpose, power, passion, and prosperity. As I consider this new year and where we are today and moving into this time, this new experience, I'm reminded of the words of the great Reverend Constance Mohorn Taylor from Chicago, Illinois, who penned the words. She says, "I'm seeing a new day, walking a new way. I'm hearing a new sound, and I'm turning around. It's a brand new you and a brand new me. It's a brand new life, free from all strife. It's a life that shines for all to see. It's a brand new you and a brand new me." Friends, today is all about newness. And that's what this month of January is about, newness. It's an opportunity to move into the newness of life. And, you know, it's really no different in this year and 2016 at the moment. It's really in the imagination, in our mind, that there's been a shift, that there's been one cycle of close and a new cycle to begin. And it's interesting that the month of January is just that, for it is a reminder, it is the threshold. This month of January is a threshold. It is the space and place where the endings and beginnings come together. They come together here in January. It's the ending of 2016 and the beginning of 2017. And there are many people right now who are at the threshold. They can feel the anticipation and the excitement of something new being born, something new that's coming in the year 2017. Yet there is a tendency to hold on to what has been or what was in 2016. And as we really engage in this process that January affords us, and really look at a deeper level of the things that we might be holding on to, and where we're looking at going, and make the decision that if those things that we're holding on to are not serving us and will not serve us in the year of 2017, that we can consciously choose to let those things go. 2017 is promised to be a phenomenal year, friends. 2016, for those of you who are familiar with numerology, those of you who are familiar with the science and the energy of numbers, you know that 2016 was a universal 9, and the 9 is a number of completion. It's a number for global consciousness, and there were a lot of things happening in our world, in our society, in our nation, to help shift consciousness, to make us more aware. And when we talk about consciousness, you know, consciousness means awareness, that we're becoming aware. We become more aware. In truth, we're teaching that the ultimate goal is to become more aware of who we are in God and who God is in us. So the universal 9 was the number of completion. And maybe there are those of you who are streaming who experience some element of completion in your life for 2016. Whether it was a job that ended, a career that ended, maybe you retired, maybe you moved, maybe you changed your home, you changed your car, you changed your relationship, maybe you changed your hair, you changed your hair color, your hairstyle, maybe you changed your size, your dress size. You changed something. It could be that you changed your room, you painted your home, you got a new bedroom suit or something. But the number 9 is the number of completion, and 2016 was the universal number of completion. And for those of you who are anticipating something new happening in the year 2017, you should be rejoicing right now. It suggests that cycle, that situation is over as we move into a cycle of 9 years. 2017 is the maestro. It is the director of activities and events. 2017 is a universal 1. And friends, 1 is the number of new beginnings. Oh, yes. 2017 is the year of new beginnings. It is the year If you've been desiring to go back to school or to start your business or to launch out on a new career path, if you've been desiring to do anything different, anything new, this is the year to do it, because the energy of the year is here to support you in being successful in what it is that you're desiring to do. So 2017 is the year to get started. Yes. If you've been putting it off, you've been procrastinating, you've been allowing the time to pass you by, this is the year to get started. Make up your mind that I am going to get started on this thing that I desire this year. In fact, you can make that your personal declaration. I choose to get started right now. This is the year to start something brand new, whatever that is. It could be a new cycle, a new approach. It could be a new method, new methodology. This is the year to begin that process. It is not a year for slacking or for procrastination. 2017 is not the year to play victim in your life or to play victim in your experience. It is not the year to sit on the sidelines, friends. This is the year to get off the sidelines and to get in the game and play the game. You don't have to be perfect in your play, but just play it to the best of your ability. Make up your mind that you will move forward in the direction of your good this year. And this month of January, as we are reminded, January in our teachings is the month of faith. And we teach that there are 12 spiritual principles that we have, each one of us. We have these 12 spiritual principles. And these principles are represented in the disciples of the Master Teacher Jesus. And each disciple represents a state of being, a phase of mind, a phase of consciousness. And January is our month of faith. And faith is the ability of the mind, the perceiving power of the mind to call the invisible substance into visibility. Faith is our ability to perceive the perceiving power of the mind to shape universal substance. And it is through faith in this month of January, and it coincides with the disciple Peter. And for those of you who are Bible students of the Bible, Bible scholars, you might recall that Peter was a very vocal disciple. And he was always first ready to go, ready to step out to assist the master teacher. And that's what faith does. Faith is our ability to see and to believe, even when we cannot see what's at hand. In fact, Hebrews talk about it, gives a definition of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So this year of 2017 calls us to exercise our faith. And as we stand at the threshold today, in January, the first month of this year, can you believe that we're already in the first month of the year 2017? As we stand at this threshold, friends, it is our faith, your faith, that will carry you and lead you, guide you, and direct you into the greater good that you might be anticipating for your life, the greater good that you might be anticipating for your church, or the greater good that you might be anticipating for your community, for your nation, for your world. And as we step into faith, it doesn't require that much. It says faith the size of a mustard seed, the smallest seed, supposedly, that there is. Faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And as we engage in this time of January, of releasing, of looking in at the depths of the soul to see what's there, what are the things that might be lurking in the soul that's still trying to hold on to what has been, that's trying to hold on to what was, and that's afraid to release those things in order to move into the unknown. One writer asked the question, why is it that people would rather suffer known hells than pursue unknown heavens? Why is it that we would rather stay with what's familiar, not even comfortable, but we stay with what's familiar rather than being willing and faithful enough and faith-filled enough to release it, to let it go, and to move into the greater good? And we have a process in many churches, and Unity and other independent churches who practice the ancient wisdom teachings of Jesus, there's a process that we call the burning bowl. We usually celebrate burning bowl. Many churches do celebrate the burning bowl at the end of the year, December 31st. And it's the process, and there are others who celebrate it at the beginning of the year, in January of 2000, of the year that's coming, or the year that we enter. And the process is that, the intention is that we use this time to release, to let go of whatever it is that was or that has been, those things that are no longer serving our highest good. It's a simple exercise that we do that has tremendous power. So for those of you who might have experienced a lot of pain, of discomfort, a lot of ambiguity, a lot of hurt, a lot of confusion, chaos, maybe you've experienced debt or lack or disease or discomfort in your body, the process of the burning bowl of releasing is the power. It affords us a tool that we can use to look at those things and say, I thank you, you have served me well, but you will not journey with me into this new experience. So I bless you, I release you, and I let you go. And we typically write those things down on a sheet of paper. And you can write it on a small sheet of paper. Here's a slip of paper that says, the burning bowl, I release, I let go. It is the opportunity to begin to purge the mind, to cleanse the mind, to clear the soul, the subconscious. And the subconscious is the feeling nature of the soul, to simply clear the mind of those things that might have been lingering there, those things that become the things in our lives, those thoughts that become the things and experiences and conditions and situations in our lives. So once you consider those things, it could be people as well. You know, you might need to release some people. There's some people that might have journeyed with you, and they don't lend to your highest good. They are just occupying space in your life. They're taking up space, and some people might be causing a lot of chaos in your life. And it could be family and friends. It doesn't mean that you don't love them, but it means that you're just ready for a new experience. And so what you do, you consider those things that you have that you're ready to let go. You write them on a piece of paper. It could be paper similar to this or just whatever paper you have. And once you write them on the paper, you know, there's a lot of power in burning things, and the fire represents purification. That when we put anything in the fire, we're releasing it. We're sending it back to the very sea of nothingness. We're allowing it to be purified. And I like to use the term, if you've ever read the book, what's the book? By Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. If you've ever read the book, The Alchemist, alchemy is all about transforming, transmuting those situations in our lives, turning it into something good that we can use to lift us up, to carry us further. As you consider those things that you're ready to alchemize today, you're ready to transform, I invite you to write them down. Really go deep into the subconscious phase of your being. Be honest with yourself. I remember hearing the conversation, the great Oprah Winfrey talked about having this conversation with her dear friend Gail, and said she had a lot of good people around her, but people who were maybe yes people, and she said that she had a conversation with Gail, and Gail says, Oprah, you need to be honest with yourself. Take a good long look at yourself. Be honest, to thy own self be true. Look into the soul and see what's there. What are the things that might be a blockage or serving, those things that might serve as a block for you today, whether it's unforgiveness, maybe it's envy or jealousy, maybe it's resentment, maybe it's anger, it could be frustration, it could be pain that you're holding on to of the past. And many people hold on to their pain as a defense mechanism. It gives them the impression that they're keeping themselves protected from those things, experiences happening to them again. And so as we look into the soul and be honest with ourselves, we can identify those things that are no longer serving us. And once you do that, write them on your paper. Make the conscious decision that you are ready to let these things go. Friends, you can even write down conditions and situations, diseases, discomfort, rheumatism, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, anything that's no longer serving your highest good that you don't want, write it on the piece of paper and put it in the burning bowl and allow the fire the fire of the Holy Spirit to alchemize those things and to transform them into something that's useful in your life. You are not a victim. This is a gift that we've been given to become more than conquerors, survivors, and overcomers as children, as channels of God. And once we have burned up those things, once we release those things, we work with denials a lot in these teachings. We say affirmations and denials. That's the soap and water of the mind. Once we deny, we're denying not that it's existing, we're denying those things' power over us. We're taking the power back. We're reaching into those things, and we're getting back the power that we have given those things. For many people, they have discomfort, they have uncomfortable situations, they have challenging situations. They give it all of their power, so much so they can't even get out of bed. They can't even go about their daily lives, their daily living. You reach into those things. You go to the depths of those conditions, and you take back your power. And that's what the master teacher did. And I know that I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. But if you recall, even after, according to the narrative, after the crucifixion, at that stage of being buried, said he went to the depths of despair, to the depths of the conditions, to the depths of Hades, to the depths of the situation, and took back the keys to his freedom, the keys to his joy, the keys to his liberation, the keys to his wholeness. He took back the keys to his well-being, the keys to his just harmonious relationship. He took back the keys to his own prosperity. And friends, we can go to the depths of those despairs, the depths of the pain. We can go to the depths of the conditions and take the key away from those things and actually step into a greater experience of living and in living. And so once we have cleared the things, we write them down, really go into prayer about it and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you and bring it forth. And those things that might be hidden. We used to sing a song in the church that I grew up in. It was, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. And what we're saying is, let the light of Spirit, let the light of the Spirit shine within my soul. And if there's anything here that should not be, God, just take it out. Divine Spirit, take it out and strengthen me, for I want to be right. I want to be in right relationship with you. I want to be in right relationship with all of my fellow human beings. I want to be in right relationship with myself. And if there's anything here, anything that's keeping me or obstructing this flow, just take it out, or at least show it to me so that it's revealed. And once it's revealed, I can do my work in order for it to be healed. And once we have written those things down, friends, and you make your way to the fire, to the burning bowl, go rejoicing, go intentionally. And when you put that thing in that fire, you should rejoice in knowing that you have placed it in the care and in the keeping, in the transforming fire of the Holy Spirit. And you allow the Holy Spirit to do the rest. And then once we have created that space, we must do what the great Catherine Ponder says in her writings. Catherine Ponder, one of the great teachers of truth, one of the great teachers of this ancient wisdom, these ancient wisdom teachings that we often espouse. She says, once you create space in your soul, you must intentionally feel it. For if you do not feel it, the universe abhors a vacuum and will rush in to fill that space with something. Think about it. Those of you who've ever cleared the counter from all of the debris of all of your letters and your junk mail, you've cleared the counter. But if you don't put something there, what usually happens? That the energy of that counter, the energy, the consciousness that you have attached to that space will begin to draw that junk mail once again. It will keep drawing and keep drawing that junk mail. And then you look and you say, I've just cleared this counter the other day, the other week, and here it is filled with stuff once again. That's consciousness. If you don't fill it with the things that you desire, the universe abhors a vacuum and will rush in to fill the thing for you. So once we have done the release, once you have let go, once you have done what Paul suggests in his writings, one thing I do is I forget what is behind me and I strain towards the mark of a high. I press towards the mark of the high calling. And friends, the high calling is the desire that God has given you, the desire that God has placed within your heart, the desire that God has placed within your soul, and the desire itself means of the Father. It is God, the Father, Mother God, the divine energy, the great creative energy and activity of the universe, tapping at the door of your heart, saying, open up and allow me to bring this manner, this element of good in, through, and as your life. And once you have released it, then you get in the place. You stand where God stands. And God stands in the place where all things are possible. And you begin to write the vision for your life. Write the vision for your new year. Write the vision for 2017. Many call it setting goals. You set New Year's resolutions. Oh, yeah, that might be fine. I said you write the vision and you make it plain, as it says in Habakkuk. And once you have written it, write it so that it's plain enough that a runner who's passing by can look at it and carry the correct message about you and your life. So you want to be that clear. You got to get definite with the infinite. And when you get definite with the infinite will get definite with you. Friends, the late Reverend Frederick Eichrenkoda says, you can't lose with the stuff I use. And the stuff that we use is the stuff of the mind. It is the stuff of the spirit. And when you use this, you will never miss. So work with it. Get in the theater of your mind and begin to create your life as you desire it to be. There's nothing stopping you. You take the pencil of your mind, and that is your imagination. You take the pad of your mind, that's your imagination. And you take the pencil of your mind, and that is your faith. And you begin to write out what it is that you desire to experience in your life, and you put it in your God letter. I had my first experience with this Dear God letter at the age of 8, and some of you probably have heard my story. At the age of 8, I recall seeing a televangelist one day, and he said, whatever you want God to do, write it in a letter. Write God a letter, and then mail it to me. That's what he asked. And at the age of 8, I wrote this letter to God, and I said, God, will you please send me a piano and teach me how to play? And I promise you, if you teach me how to play the piano, I will play for my church, because we did not have a piano player in my church. And I wrote this letter, and at the age of 8, of course, my hands were so small and I couldn't write legibly enough to capture the address, nor fast enough to capture the address. But I wrote the letter, and I recall from Sunday school, and I recall from my teachings and my mother's teachings in church, that you put it in the Bible, put it in some place that suggests sacredness and holiness to you, some place that suggests the divine. And I placed it in the Bible. My mother came across this letter, and I overheard her maybe a month or so later telling a relative of hers about this letter. And she was crying over this letter. She prayed over this letter. And sure enough, friends, it wasn't even a month later that someone gave me a piano. 2 weeks after receiving that piano, I played my first song. And the first song was God Has Smiled on Me. And friends, it was 1 month later, after playing that song for my mother's cousin, who was a star soloist in the Williams Grove Missionary Baptist Church there in Camden, Tennessee, cousin Audrey Tharp, when she was asked to come and sing a solo one Sunday, she says, Reverend E.D. Barnett, I will sing if Jack will play for me. And I thought, oh, no, I cannot play. And she says, remember your promise. Remember, God has already given it to you. Although you can't see it, although you might not be able to hear it, God has given you the gift, that gift, and you must use it. And friends, I stepped up there and I used it. And I can tell you as a living witness, I have used it for that and so many other things. So you write on this letter to God, Dear God, what is it that you desire to see manifested in your life by the end of the year 2017? Don't worry about how it's going to happen. You see, that's how the conscious mind tries to trip you up. The conscious mind is always trying to figure out how something is going to happen. But you know what? It's none of the conscious mind's business how God will do it, who God will use, when God will do it, or where God will do it. All the conscious mind needs to focus on is what it is. What do you want God to do? Make it plain. Write it on this letter and get definite. Stand in the place where God stands. Don't play God cheap, and don't play God small. Don't play the divine incapable of doing exceedingly abundantly above all that we can hope, think, or imagine according to God's power that God power, that divine power that is at work inside of us at all times. And that power that's at work within us is the power, the creative power of faith, the creative power of imagination, the creative power of will, the creative power of zeal, the creative power of life, the creative power of understanding, the creative power of strength and of love and divine order, and of all of the wonderful attributes of God. And you get in that place and space, you write this letter, and once you write it, you seal it up. Put it in the envelope, address it to yourself, and put it somewhere sacred, or you place it in the hands of your church, and let the church hold it in consciousness, in that prayer consciousness for the year, and you just watch and see what happens. At the end of the year, you go back to the letter, once you receive it or once you take it out of your personal space, and you read the letter, and you'll see truly that it is no secret what God can do. What God has done for one, what God did for me, God will also do for you. Some of you know what I'm talking about. You've had the miracle working power. You've experienced the miracle working power of the burning bowl. You've experienced the miracle working power of releasing and letting go. You've experienced the miracle working power of writing the vision and making it plain. You've experienced the miracle working power of God by writing the letter to God and trusting that what you have written will come to pass. I promise you, friends, it works. Oh, yes, it does. It works, and it will keep on working if you work it. Happy New Year. Happy New You. And know that I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. And I pray that this year of 2017 will be your best year ever. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered the heart and mind of man of what God has in store for you this year as you keep the faith. Do the work. Want it bad enough to do the work. And you just watch and see how the year ends up for you. God bless you.